The way I've been able to deal with when my wife was killed and my daughter were killed and then my son died, I've only been able to deal with it by realizing they're part of my being. My son, Bo, is my soul. He asked me when he was dying, promise me, Dad. Promise me, Dad. Promise me. He said, I know no one loves me more than you do, Dad. But promise me you'll stay engaged. It took a long time for me to get to the point to realize that that purpose is the thing that would save me. And it has. And every morning I get up and I say to myself, when I give you my word as a Biden, I hope he's proud of me.
Vote for whoever you want to, but that was something. An innate ability to connect, to share experience in an authentic, genuine way. That is Joe Biden. Those heartfelt moments seem to be going far and explaining his strong position in South Carolina right now. The latest poll has Biden ahead by 20 points over Bernie Sanders. But looking beyond the state, long considered to be Biden's firewall, there's serious concerns. New York Times reporting, even if he, Joe Biden, succeeds in South Carolina, his lack of resources and thin campaign organization in California and other states that vote next week on Super Tuesday present a daunting challenge to candidacy already on precarious footing. The table's packed. I asked Joe Biden when he was here, let's give you the best sort of odds here. You win South Carolina, then what? They've got no ads up in any Super Tuesday states, and it seems like even the best case scenario in South Carolina, he could stumble again 3 days later.
Right, so it's important for viewers to understand that there's a certain mechanics to getting ads up on the air. You can't just snap your fingers.
Correct.
It's hard to translate a win in South Carolina into money and then money into the airwaves. So the question for Biden is how much of a bump can he get? How big can he win if he wins? And can he get some kind of action on Super Tuesday off of that? But it's going to be hard to convert it on the airwaves.
So before I did this, I was a campaign operative, and I know exactly how ads get on the airwaves. And while it's too late to buy ads, even if you raise gazillion dollars on Saturday and Sunday, it's not too late to send new ones. Do you think Mike Bloomberg should change all of his Super Tuesday ads to support Joe Biden? You can email a new ad like that. I mean, if Mike Bloomberg, look, his comments last night were that, you know, anybody but Trump. If Biden shows strength, should Biden put that into action, or should Bloomberg put that into action?
No, Bloomberg is careening towards a singular gamble, which is put it all on Super Tuesday. And Joe Biden
put it all on Biden.
Joe Biden is putting it all on South Carolina and hoping to slingshot with momentum into Super Tuesday, even lack of resources. But what you're going to see from Joe Biden, if you don't have the money to pay for the media, you earn it through moments like that. Last night, a moment where he connected with millions of Americans when he said, when you have a child, your heart lives outside of you. Every parent, I now understand that 11 months after the birth of our child. But what you saw in Joe Biden in that moment, more than a man expressing his faith, was a man expressing his humility. That despite all of the hallways of Washington he had walked, he knew that there was something in life greater than he was, that there were moments that he could not control. And that whether somebody seeks that guidance through faith or through the teachings of a philosopher, he was expressing that he couldn't solve everything himself, that he relied on something greater that gave him wisdom. And why that matters in this race from him or any of the other candidates on the Democratic side is the contrast with Donald Trump, a man who has said he has done no wrong. When he's asked at a religious conference, have you ever asked forgiveness from God? And he says, no, why would I need to? Those are the moments that Joe Biden, if he combines it with a strong win in South Carolina, you know, the story for 72 hours going into Tuesday will be, is Joe Biden the comeback kid? And then it's going to be a Biden-Bloomberg scenario, who's going to be the counter to Bernie Sanders, unless we see an emergence from a Buttigieg or a Warren or somebody else.
After spending my career in politics thinking every ad and every press appearance and every rally mattered, I now, at my right middle age, think that it's really structural. And I think structurally, if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter, you've got this. I think that if you love Bernie Sanders, he's done well enough in the first three contests to really almost be an uncatchable and inevitable nominee. And the structural piece of this is that even if Biden is a runaway victor on Saturday, he doesn't have time to get ads up. I mean, I think you don't speak for the Bloomberg campaign, but I'm sure there's little to no chance Bloomberg's going to turn his money machine into a pro-Biden operation. Buttigieg won Iowa. He can claim to not getting out. And Elizabeth Warren arguably is having the strongest performances on the debate stage. Structurally, no one can catch him.
The The one thing I would say about this race, I think you're right that he really is the front runner, and it doesn't matter what the polls in South Carolina say. I do think this is a highly unusual Democratic primary because it's an extremely unprecedented time. This is one of those times when voters, even though voters care about issues, I don't want to suggest they don't. Of course they do. But their number one issue, by and large, is get Trump out of office. And I think that could translate into, and it's a long shot. I have no crystal ball.
Yeah, none of us does. I don't either.
Yeah, maybe I could read a palm. That's about all. But what I do think is the fact he's going to win South Carolina. Biden's going to win South Carolina. I think that when you see a Jim Clyburn give the kind of endorsement, it wasn't just. I agree completely with everything David said about Biden's own answer to that question, but it was Jim Clyburn.
Yeah.
Jim Clyburn was every stretch as emotional, heartfelt, sincere, and moving when he told voters why he was endorsing Biden. And that is a kind of loyalty and connection you can't buy. And that also is something that could be deployed for him in these other states.
Well, that's my other thought. John McCain got in a truck and drove around with his former folks who knew sort of what he had endured as a prisoner of war. Maybe Jim Clyburn can get on a plane with Joe Biden and get to all the Super Tuesday states before Tuesday.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.